Good afternoon. Welcome to VANIK-IAS. We'll discuss current affairs of 27th April. First is related to Kuril Island. Just a minute. Okay. Recently, Kuril Island is a disputed territory. It is between Russia and Japan. Okay. You may see the region of South China Sea. There is a Sea of Okhotsk. Suppose this is Sea of Okhotsk. This is Bering Sea, and these are the Kuril Islands that is extended up to Japan. These are the Kuril Islands, right? These are disputed territory. It's according to Japan, these are the northern territory of Japan. But according to Russia, these are Kuril Islands. So that is a disputed territory between Russia and Japan in the South China Sea. In recent context, cost disease is a term related to which of the following refers to increase the price even demand and supply match correctly, refers to the increase of in wages of certain laborers even though their productivity or skill level has not risen commensurately. Right? So even if skill there is no skill development, even if there is no development, so in refers to increase in wages of certain laborers even though there is productivity or skill level has not risen commensurately, right? So even if there is no rise in skill, there is no rise in skill of a particular labor, and its wages increases, that is called as cost disease, right? That is called as cost disease. It is not related to health, it is related to economics. It refers to increase in the price of certain commodity due to increase in labor cost in on raw industries. Increase of price of certain commodity, now this is wrong, due to increase in labor cost, that is normal inflation. That can be called as normal inflation. This is wrong, and B answer is the right answer. Decrease in the price when demand is high, no, it doesn't happen. Decrease in price doesn't happen when demand is high. So B is the only answer, that is increase the wage of certain laborers although there is no significant increase in the significant level of increase in the productivity. Next, Kuril Island, it is we have discussed, that is belongs to India, and that is Russia and Japan, near the Sea of Okhotsk and in the South China Sea. Now, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh have been a dispute, having border dispute. Right? Then, which of the following article can be used? Article 131. Article 131 talks about original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Original jurisdiction of Supreme Court means this is your original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Original jurisdiction means if there is any state between center and states, or states and or between two states, that that matter can be decided by the Supreme Court under Article 131. It is the apex court, that is original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Right? Then, or it may be between center and two and more states, right? That is original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Supreme Court can take the case. Also, Article 262, it gives the Parliament to make laws to solve any dispute between the states. So this is not directly linked regarding the border to solve the border dispute. So Article 262 is wrong. But Article 263, it talks about interstate council. Interstate council. Interstate council, it is a platform where issues between center and states or two states can be solved. And Article 3, by Article 3, Parliament can change the boundary of any state by a simple majority. So at 1, 3, 4, all the options are correct, right? Article 3, Parliament can change the boundary of any state, can divide a particular state just by simple majority under Article 3. And 131 is original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. And Article 360 and 263 is interstate council. Okay. Next question. Uh, Global warming potential. Which of the following has highest global warming potential? It is sulfur hexafluoride, around 16,300 global potential. In case of methane, it is hardly 4,400. And sorry, in case of methane, it is hardly 50. For methane, it is around 4,400. In case of methane, it is around 50. And nitrogen is so. So far as global warming potential is concerned, SF6, this is 16,300, which is highest. So D is the answer. Then you'll perfluorocarbon will come, and then nitrogen difluoride, and then methane will come as the global warming potential, right? So answer is D. Then consider the following multinational organization: Asian Development Bank, sorry, African Development Bank, Asian Development ADB, European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, International Center for Resettlement and Investment Disputes. Uh, in which of the following include India as a member? India is not a member of International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. It is the only branch of World Bank in which India is not a member. Remember, World Bank has five banks. One is IBRD, that is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Then your IDA, that is International Developmental Association. Then your MIGA, that is Multilateral Guarantee Agency. Then IFC, International Financial Corporation. The fifth is your ICSID, that is International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute. Except ICSID, in all other banks, India is a member, right? ICSID, this is formed in 1966. 1966, ICSID is formed, right? India is not a member. Remember, what is the work? Work is to settlement of disputes. So 4 is not in the answer. 1, 2, 3, all others are the answer. It started in 1991, right? ADB 1966. ADB, it is now India is the having a fourth share, right? USA is also there. There are around 68 members in Asian Development Bank ADB. Okay, next. So except ICSID, in all other branches of World Bank, India is a member. Question number 6. The term dovies and hockey is seen in often news to describe which of the following context. The answer is to describe monetary policy. It is the answer. To denote stages and spread of disease in pandemic, no. No relation with health. And to describe growth phase in the stock market. See already and the denotes business cycle. No. Okay, what do you mean by hockeys? Hockeys is when interest rate is high. High interest rate is your hockeys. High interest rate is your hockeys. So what will happen? That to control the inflation, especially to control inflation. and dovish is when low interest rate. Dovish is when low interest rate. So interest rate. So what will happen? Bank will give much amount of money to the bank will bring much amount of money from RBI. So here's the answer. Then vernacular innovation program. VIP in India has been developed by Ministry of Education Niti Aayog. See this vernacular innovation program. This is developed by Niti Aayog and Atal Innovation Mission (AIM). Right? Why they have developed it? To reduce the gap, to reduce the gap in innovation and entrepreneurship. Right? To reduce gap in innovation and entrepreneurship, that is VIP, the vernacular innovation, and this will have 22 languages, all the scheduled languages. It will have 22 languages that are mentioned in the constitution, right? That is vernacular innovation program. Next, consider the following with respect to graded response action plan. What is graded response action plan? It is related to air pollution only. Yes, it is related to air pollution only. It works emergency measure and incremental in nature. Whenever, especially this was started when when Delhi air pollution during the winter, right? Graded action plan, that is, it suggests, for example, your closing of schools, or odd even formula, all these things that is related to air pollution when it become extremely severe, right? Then graded action plan is applied in case of extreme severe customer situations. So both of the answer will be right. Then what is Sekhatkar committee? Sekhatkar committee is related to defense. It has suggested Sekhatkar committee. Graduating this year, that is I am in 6th semester. Is there any upcoming batch for OPC in Banik? Dear Anurag Misra, you may call to Banik, right? There is Banik number. You may go and search banikonline.com and you will get the number, and uh, and you can contact with that phone number. When the batch starts, you may join. Okay. So let's study what is Secretary Committee and what is the recommendation. It is under Lieutenant General D.V. Sekhatkar. He has constituted a committee to recommend the measures to enhance combat capability, right? To enhance combat capability and to rebalance the defense expenditure, because huge amount of defense expenditure is spent. I mean, that is, we need huge amount of money to spend our defense capability, but fact is that there is huge amount is going for pensions and all these things, and it has given various recommendation. For example, if any area has already become peace, then close those military farms at those places. Also, another thing, mm, improve, for example, it has also given recruitment of drivers, political staffs, right? Or improving the efficiency of NCC, all these things. The second core committee has recommended, it is related to your defense. So this is related to defense. Consider following about national strategy on blockchain. National strategy of blockchain, it is released by Ministry of Ministry of um, Electronics and Information and Technology, MeitY. This has launched Ministry National Strategy on Blockchain, and it has also suggested setting up National Blockchain Framework. So this is not started by Niti Aayog. This is wrong. It is started by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So only B answer will be the right answer. 10B. Right. So let's discuss some prelims facts and one main topic. First main topic is booster to India and UK relationship. Booster to India and UK relationship. PM Narendra Modi and British counterpart Boris Johnson closing negotiations for a free trade agreement by this end of this year. Free trade agreement, right? Why free trade agreement is very essential to develop trade, right? Whenever it has seen that whenever two countries, we can get the example from your trade war. In trade war between US and China, what happened? Both increase their respective taxes. When taxes increases, what happens? Both the countries suffer, right? So if you reduce the taxes, if you reduce the trade barriers, then the trade between two countries will increase, and that is economically beneficial for both the countries, right? So this free trade agreement is going to be signed between India and UK by the end of this year. Okay, next major points to agree enhance the cooperation in defense sector. Enhance the cooperation in defense sector, especially then enhance the defense and security partnership will help the protect vital shared interest in the Indo-Pacific region and will also help India strengthen its own domestic defense industry. Indo-Pacific region, because that is now the hotbed of geopolitics, and West want to develop relationship with India and Australia to counter aggressive nature of China, because it is violating very international norms in various in sea. In, for example, in South China Sea, it has violated international norms. It, every Western country see China as a threat, emerging threat. That's why India has been become important, and India will cooperate each other for far as maritime security is concerned. Then open general export license. UK will issue open general export license OGEL to support greater defense and security collaboration in the coming decade. The OEGL will reduce bureaucratic interference and shorten delivery time for India's defense procurement. It will shorten the delivery time. OEGS, that is Open General Export License, that will reduce the bureaucratic interference. This is the first British OEGL in Indo-Pacific region that will issued by US, UK. Next, Indo-Pacific. India is emphasized on maintaining free and open and inclusive rule-based order in the region, and India is welcomed UK's decision to join Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative. Right, India is already cooperating with Australia, Japan, and US so far as Indo-Pacific is concerned, and the UK is also joining India so far in maintaining rule-based order in the region of Indo-Pacific. And what are the Indo-UK relationship? Area of cooperation, we'll see. In the relationship rooted out in colonial history, we have a colonial history in the UK has ruled India for around 200 years with British, and relationships share both countries even after post-independence, right? Even after independence, suppose India is a member of Commonwealth, so we have good relationship with United Kingdom. The bilateral relationship has upgraded to strategic partnership in 2004. It has become strategic partnership, official relationship, strategic partnership in 2004. That signifies that both countries will cooperate in diverse areas with each other and benefit in respective areas. Then political. There is a common partnership which has been upgraded to standard partnership in 2004. The UK's proposal for permanent membership in NSC is also an important interlocutor for India on the global platforms. Right? UK supports India proposal for permanent member of UNSC. Right? India needs world support, the supports of various countries so far as permanent member of United States is concerned, because India is the world's largest democracy. It is second highest population. It is a largest contributor to peacekeeping. It is third largest economy on the basis of purchasing power community. It has a rich culture and heritage. It has been obeying the international law. Right? It is a peaceful country. So India deserves to be get a permanent member in UNSC. But the fact is that the existing members they are opposing. So we need the support of various countries to bring a change in United Nations or to push for global governance. So India also is getting the support from UK so far as permanent membership in UNSC is concerned. Now, economic engagements. UK is among the major trading partners as per the trade statistics MOC and and the trade with UK is 2018 was 2017-18 was $14 billion. right? We have very good historical relationship. UK, United Kingdom was the gateway to European Union, right? After Brexit, now we are developing a relationship with UK separately. So we have a trade of around for 15 billion in 2017 and 18. UK is fourth largest inward investor in India after Mauritius. Fourth largest inward investor after Mauritius, Singapore, and Japan, with a cumulative equity investment around 26 billion, accounting for 7% of all foreign direct investment to India. So far as investment is concerned, UK is investing huge amount of money in India. So it has fourth rank after Mauritius, Singapore, and Japan. India continues to be third largest investor in UK and emerged as the second largest international job creator. Second largest international job creator, with the Indian companies having created over 1 lakh 10,000 jobs in the UK. Right, 1 lakh 10,000 jobs in the UK has been created by Indian companies in UK, and second largest job creator with Indian companies it is in the United Kingdom. Then defense cooperations. In 2015, two countries elevated to defense partnership by establishing capability partnership in strategic areas. They are developed countries, they have a huge amount of money, and their per capita income is very high, so they can help us in many ways. For example, that may be technology, that may be security, and so that may be partnership in strategic areas. The institutionalized dialogue to discuss defense cooperation, for example, your defense consultative group meeting held annually at the defense secretary level. Defense consultative group meeting is held annually at the defense secretary level to discuss the defense cooperation. Ajay Warrior Army to Army biennial exercise. Ajay Warrior, remember it is a prelim fact as well. Ajay Warrior Army to Army exercise. Konkanan joint Navy to Navy annual exercise. And Indradhanush joint to air exercise happened between India and UK. That is Ajay Warrior, Konkan, and Indradhanush. These are the three types of defense partnership in annual exercise that is happening between India and the UK, United Kingdom. Over last 10 years, the relationship has substantially grown with the introduction of bilateral mechanisms such as Indo-UK Educational Forum, Indo-UK Education Forum, UK-India Education Research Initiative, Joint Working Group on Education, Newton Bhabha Fund for Scholarship Schemes. And size of our science and technology concerned, joint investment in UK-India research has grown from 1 million euro to 200 million euro. That is joint research, joint UK-India research, right? This is very good because both countries will contribute different amounts, and combined they will research, and whatever the product will be developed, that will be shared by the both countries. India UK Clean Energy Research and Development Center with a focus on solar energy storage and collaborative R&D program in energy efficient buildings are announced. New research partnership worth 80 million euro, including new joint strategic group, an antimicrobial resistance AMR with a joint investment up to European 13 million has also been established. So new research partnership around 80 million euro, right? It has including new joint strategy group for antimicrobial resistance, and with joint investment of 13 euro has also been established, right? So there is huge investment in science and technology. Antimicrobial resistance means resistance by various antimicrobials like bacteria or virus, or by different microbials that causes that no other medicine will work in the inside the body. That is antimicrobial resistance even after taking medicine. So healthcare prices increase. So both countries are investing huge amount of money so far as research in science and technology and education is concerned, and that increases our cooperation, strengthen our relationship between India and United Kingdom. Then cultural linkages. Cultural linkages in a deep, extensive, arising shared history in two countries, shared history for 2 centuries. Has been a gradual mainstreaming of Indian culture and absorption of Indian cuisine, cinema, language, religion, philosophy, performing arts, etc. 2017 was celebrated as India UK Year of Culture to mark the 17th anniversary of Indian independence. So India, UK, Europe, UK, Europe cultural exchanges. This has happened during the independence. So in 2017 was celebrated as India, UK Year of Culture. Then Indian diaspora in UK is one of the largest ethnic minority communities in the country. Indian diaspora in UK, various people are working in the field of education, in the field of information technology and other. Approximately 1.5 million people of Indian origin live in the UK, equating almost 1.8% of the population, contribute to 6% of country's GDP. Right, so the contribution is 6% of GDP, and around 1.15 lakh people of Indian origin are living in the UK. Right, Roadmap 2030. The Roadmap 2030 for India UK future relationship launched during the India UK Virtual Summit. During the India UK Virtual Summit, revitalize and dynamic connections between people. Realize trade and investment technological collaboration that improves the lives and livelihoods of the citizens. Enhance defense and security cooperation that brings more secure Indian Ocean region and Indo-Pacific. So this is the roadmap for Indo and UK future relationship during the what that is revolve the dynamic the connections among the people, that is developing the people's contact that will develop the soft power between the two countries, and also re-energize trade investment by signing the free trade agreement, investment, technological collaboration, especially in research, improve the lives and livelihoods of the citizens. Next, enhance defense and security cooperation that brings that is especially working on the Indo-Pacific, more secure Indian Ocean region and Indo-Pacific. India UK leadership climate, clean energy and health acts as a global force for good. India will also try to pursue UK for its name, suggesting the for permanent membership in the United Nations. So subsequent to unveiling the free trade agreement, the two nations should proactively and regularly engage with each other, deliberating the scope and coverage of the trade deal. Then we'll discuss the preliminary facts. Right? Europa Moon. What do you mean by Europa Moon? Recently, the team of researchers from Stanford University concluded that Jupiter's icy moon Europa is a prime candidate to find life in solar system. Jupiter's icy moon Europa. Right? It's in Jupiter. It's the moon of Jupiter. What are the major points? That might have an evidence of water pockets when the formation of the called double ridges. The double ridges are most common in the Europa surface and similar to seen on Earth Greenland ice sheet. So in Earth's Greenland ice sheet, will know that is so similar to Earth Greenland's ice sheet. There may be abundance of water beneath the formation of double ridges. Right? There is below those ice sheet, there is possibility that there will be water pockets, and that is need to be founded. That is it is now the target is to find if there is water below the ridges, so that we can expect life in the other areas of the planet of the solar system. Then what is Europa? Europa is named after women who Greek mythology abducted the god Zeus, right? Jupiter in Roman mythology. Europa orbits Jupiter in 3.5 days and locked by gravity to Jupiter, the same hemisphere. The moon always faces the planet. Jupiter's moon Europa and Ganymede. Ganymede is the largest satellite. Remember, moon Jupiter's moon low Europa and Ganymede. It is the largest satellite outside Jupiter. Then Europa is slightly smaller than Earth's moon, and its diameter is about one third of the quarter of the Earth. That is Europa. Even though Europa has a very thin oxygen atmosphere, it is considered one of the most promising places in the solar system to find the present environments that are suitable for life beyond the Earth. Right. So, as it has very thin atmosphere oxygen, so it is assumed by the scientists that there is presence of life in Europa. It is also believed that under Europa's icy surface, amount of water is twice that on the Earth. It is expected that the total amount of water is twice that of the Earth. That is very huge. That is it is They are trying to find out in below the Europa. Mission. NASA is expected to launch Europa Clipper in 2024. The module of the orbit will not the module will orbit Jupiter and conduct multiple close previous Europa to gather data in the moon's atmosphere, surface, and interior. To get the details regarding moon's atmosphere, surface, and interior, NASA is expected to launch Europa Clipper. Then DEF Connect to 2.0. DEF Connect 2000. Defense Minister of India inaugurated DEF Connect 2000, sorry 2.0, organized by Innovations for Defense Excellence Defense Innovation Organization, that is IDEX DIO. Right, recently this IDEX and these are in the news defense challenge. Also, this is one type of promoting the in innovation and entrepreneurship in defense sector. So DEF Connect organized by IDEX, Innovation for Defense Excellence Defense Innovation Organization. It is uh, it is it is a one-day event to bring together startups, big companies, and armed forces personnel to boost the indigenous innovation in the defense sector. That is bringing the startups, big companies, and armed forces together for indigenization of the defense sector. That's why DF Connect 2.0. The event will attract large number of innovators and investors. Large number of innovators and investors will come and they will discuss and they will the defense minister has inaugurated it and they will discuss various ideas that and how to develop the private sector participation so far as defense manufacturing is concerned. It will provide a unique opportunity for innovators associated with IDEX DIO to showcase their capabilities, products, state-of-the-art technologies to target audience of the industry leaders, right? So, opportunity for innovators. If somebody has innovated a particular technology that may helpful for the industry leaders in producing high state-of-the-art technologies, the goods made up of high state-of-the-art technologies, and that which will help the manufacturing sector. That is why it is an opportunity for those innovators, right? They will present it. They will present which of the industrialists that this model will be beneficial. That is their connect. The reusable launch vehicle. ISRO is aiming to carry out a landing vehicle LEX reusable long vehicle in the next few days, right? Launch vehicle that allows the reuse some all component of the stages. It returns to the Earth after the mission. These launch vehicles, what is their function? They will launch satellite in the orbit, and after that, either there is vanishing or becomes space debris. Now, it is by this reusable launch vehicle technology demonstration (RLVTD) that will return to the Earth surface after the launch of that particular satellite. Then the experiment. The LEX involves taking the unmanned on-wing prototype of an altitude about 2.3 and 2.4 km on a helicopter and released it to the land. Taking unmanned and wing prototype on altitude about 2.3 and 4 km on a helicopter and releasing it to the land. It is the way it has created. It's the experiment. It must travel distance autonomously, gain velocity and maintain control and come in the line of tropical aircraft touching the down with the rear wheels fast. So this is the experiment which is tested and that may be workable in case of reusable defense vehicle. Launch vehicle, it will launch the satellites in the desired orbit and it will return back. Then phases. The phase in the series of experimental flights In the hypersonic experiment HEX, followed by landing experiment LEX, the return flight experiment REX, and scramjet propulsion experiment, that is SPEX. That are the various pages. Scramjet means supersonic ramjet. Ramjet, it may speed more than the speed of light. Right? It is very high speed. Right? So these are the series of experimental flights that are followed by the landing. The series experimental flights that can be used by the reusable launch vehicle. Benefits of RV. This is cheaper because you don't need a new type of. This is cheaper access to space that makes RV attractive. A major hurdle in the space exploration is the prohibitive cost that can slash if the launch vehicle is reusable once. Prohibitive cost, that means you are launching some space debris, then you have to pay for it. So challenge of RLV, reusable stages way more than the equivalent expensive stages because they have to consume double engine, double amount of fuel. This is unavoidable due to the supplementary systems, landing gear, and surplus propellant needed for a needed to land a stage. That is, as it will go and return, then that is why it needed more equipment, also more weight. That's why this is the challenge for RLV. Refurbishment after the launch lands, it may be refurbished to prepare for next flight. This process may be lengthy and expensive. The launcher may not be able to be recertified as human rated after refurbishment. So, especially after returning to the station, it will take some time to send it again to work. Right? That are the challenges so far as RLV is concerned. An orbital re-entry experiment (ORE). Orbital re-entry experiment (ORE). It is working. ISRO is working under orbital re-entry experiment. In ORE, wing body called as orbital re-entry vehicle will be taken into an orbit by an ascent vehicle derived from the existing GSLV, PSLV stages, and stay in orbit for a stipulated period, re-enter and land in the runway in the gear, right? So especially it is what wing body, that is orbital re-entry vehicle, ascent vehicle derived from an existing GSLV, PSLV, stipulated period, re-enter and land in runway autonomously with a landing gear, right? There is a problem regarding when a satellite again comes to the Earth's surface. That issue, for example, it may blast in certain cases. That issue will be solved by the orbital re-entry experiment, that is ORV of ISRO, right? GSLV is global geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. PSLV is polar satellite launch vehicle. At GSLV, it may rotate in any direction at a distance of 35,790 km, right? But PSLV, it is in polar satellite launch vehicle. It is low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit means 400 to 500 kilometers, or especially the exact is 180 to 2000 kilometer range is called as low Earth orbit. Next, examine the factors behind farmer suicide. Right? It has been long-standing issue. Farmer suicide. It has been long-standing issue that huge number of farmers are getting suicide. They suicide every day, almost every day. Recently, in Punjab, around 14 farmers suicided. Right. So it has been a long problem. What are the various reasons that because of which farmer suicide occurs? We'll study in detail. National Crime Record Bureau (NCR) data reveals that 3,58,000 people engaged in the farming profession have committed suicide. 3,58,000 people engaged as committing suicide between 1995 and 2019. In these 25 years, around 3,53,164 people have been suicided who are engaged in farming activities. Socioeconomic factors have enabled the environment vulnerable to distress and agricultural debts of the nation. Unable to cope up with the mounting debt, unable to take care of the families, they may end their lives. Right. So, especially the region, various socio-economic factors, a person choose the path of suicide. And there is also impact of climate change. Climate change has reduced the agriculture productivity by 12%. It has reduced changed the rainfall pattern by 18%. So in those areas where there should not be rain, there is raining or there is flood. In some areas there is drought. Such type situation has happened. That's why farmers also they become sufferer. Then what are the factors when increasing case of farmer suicides? Plummeting incomes, very few incomes, mounting debts, huge amount of debt and interest, high interest rates, particularly by non-institutional sources when they bring from the money lenders who charge around 5% per year, right? Around 5% per 5% per month. The money lenders charges around 3 to 5% per month, which is very huge. Then high debt burden was primary reason for 75% of farmer suicides. Large chunk of persons were underemployed, disguised unemployed during 2016 and 17. Disguised unemployed means they are not getting complete full-time work. The mismatch between inputs and outputs prices, crop failures, unfavorable terms in from trade practices received by the farmers have contributed to barely declining farm incomes. Right, inputs costs have become high because of the mechanization. Right, and also crop failures. Next, cost of cultivation. The MSP of wheat and paddy has increased at 2% per annum, while as cost of cultivation increased by 7.9% during the last and 1.5 decades. Increased by the rate of 2% per annum. Whereas overall growth has in world of cultivation and has increased by around 7.9% during the last and 1.5 decades. With growth rate of 1.6% and stress on natural resources, farm sector is trapped vicious cycle of crisis. So there is issue of stress, there is issue of exploitation of natural resources also exist in farm sites. Due to declining water table, the cost of irrigation structure has increased. Declining water table, the cost of irrigation structure has increased as the farmers replace the centrifugal pumps by the costly submersible pumps. Right. So the cost of irrigation has increased, that increase the input cost, so farmers are getting very few prices from the output. Farmers are being exploited by trade dealers providing them surplus foods and agrochemicals. Dealers are providing them agrochemicals and surplus foods. So that's why also what happens, the quality of fruits that that become vulnerable, right? It may not be perfect. Then agriculture in Punjab suffers monocrop culture and mainly wheat and paddy. This cropping pattern farming itself is becoming unviable occupation due to rising the variable input cost and low remuneration to the falling profit margins. So monocrop culture, agriculture in Punjab is suffering from monocrop culture. That is one particular um, farming, or that is a special rice farming in those areas. That reduces the profit of farmers. Why cost increase? Cost increase due to the rise in fertilizer, pesticide, weedicide result, that is the input cost increases, the overall cost increases. Fixed cost like installation, deeping the submersible pump due to the deeping water will increase the financial loss of the farmers, right? Submersible pumps or these pumps that decline the water table, groundwater. That's why they fear. Then for a small and marginal family, economically unviable to make such investment, especially the borrowing and informal sources at high interest rate, right? The more informal sources, more high interest is very high. That is the issue, right? They cannot bear. The poor peoples they cannot bear. Then data anomaly. Existing studies have existing studies have analyzed the intensity of farmer suicide in our solution without comparing farmer suicides with those by other professions. The policy makers need to prevent the farmer suicide. What are the policies that need to be done? The steps that need to be taken. The scheme of debt swapping borrowers should be made more effective for converting non-institutional debt to institutional debt. Scheme of debt swapping for the borrowers. The AMSCs should be set up in every village to provide customer hiring services small and to small farmers and priority basis. Then quality of inputs like seed, fertilizers, or pesticides must be supplied to farmers at subsidized prices. So these are things that will reduce the input cost, and the input cost, if input cost got reduced, then the profit increases of the farmer. Right. So so what step need to be taken? Rationalization of subsidies so that there will not be any leakage or unfavorable dues. Then especially in forms of small farmers may control the appreciating farm cost and making the farming viable. For alternating settlement, Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme should effectively implemented by ensuring annual employment of 100 days rather than existing 30 days to each family in the state. Identifying developing crop niche that will encourage allied activities in corporate climatic zones. Effective irrigation facilities should be provided. Using information technology and telecommunication media. Land pooling, right? Land can be pooled to a large fish, that is consolidation of land of the vulnerable population, right? Skill development programs as they can develop alternative sources of income. Alternative source of income by government. Effective implementation of various government schemes like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchan Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Soil Health Card Scheme, all these things that will help in reducing the farmer suicides. This is what government believes. Another thing is that huge around 50% of our persons are farmers, right? Directly they are farmers. So even if a person who do not have that link with farm suicide, still sometimes there is also miscalculation. So there is, it will be properly verified. It will, the reason of the death of a particular farmer and proper action should be taken. So this is where the lecture ends today. And like this video, share this video, and subscribe to VANIK-IAS Academy. Thank you.